Now, presidential campaigns often bring unique challenges to both the candidates and their families. That's true of Kentucky Senator Rand Paul, and he learned quite a bit by watching his father, Ron Paul, run for president, including how to dress.
The one thing I do like about campaigning is I usually just wear my jeans and my boots. But today I thought I had to try to win some votes, so I got dressed up, you know. So.
Attire notwithstanding, the senator from Kentucky is working hard to change his title. But the name apparently will stay the same.
How did you get your name? Do you know the story?
You know, the interesting thing is a lot of people think I was named after Ayn Rand because a lot of libertarians like Ayn Rand, and she's an individualist, or was an individualist. But it wasn't really. I was Randall. I was Randy as a kid, and then my wife said, you're too big to be Randy, now you're going to be Rand. And I said, well, I said, as long as she'll stay married to me, I'll do what I'm told, you know.
Your wife is beautiful.
Thank you.
Do politicians select for beauty? Because really, most politicians who run for office, their wives are so beautiful.
Well, mine is. I married up, as they say, but I think I wooed her with something else. I had some kind of charm, either that she had a vision problem or something. I don't know. But no, I met my wife in Atlanta when I was doing my year of general surgery, and I met her at a party, and we actually had a connection because of literature, and you know, I enjoy reading, and that's what we were discussing when I first met her. And she was an English major in college, and she's now written a book, and she just had her book published this year.
Despite the Pauls' success, they still reside in a small Kentucky town, and that was a decision that was made right out of medical school.
You know, we could have gone anywhere, big city, small city, university, but I'd grown up in a town of about 13,000. I rode my bike to school probably every day through 8th grades, you know, from kindergarten to 8th grade. And so I wanted my kids to grow up in a smaller town.
So do you own a horse?
We had horses when I was a kid. My dad had horses, and we had Shetlands, and they're mean, and they will bite you. And also, horses are better if you ride them all the time. We had horses, and we wouldn't ride them very often. But then we'd go out, and we'd try to ride them bareback. And they didn't like having us on their back because they weren't used to being ridden. And you know how the live oak trees in Texas and the South are really low limbs that come almost to the ground? They would run you under the limbs to try to knock you off. So none of us really excelled at horse riding, and I never had. After that, I didn't have a great love for getting horses when I could.
And like a lot of kids, Paul concedes at times he could be a handful.
You know, when I was a kid, I was like some boys, rambunctious and didn't always listen, and particularly in school I had a lot of extra energy, and sitting around wasn't my forte. I was good in school, but the sitting around kind of cooped me up a little bit, so sometimes I would probably be more exuberant than my teachers would have preferred, I think is the best way to put it. But some of that you grow out of, and I think what I recognize from that is I think we've gone too far in what we do to boys who are sort of loud and exuberant. We all want to put them on Ritalin or something, you know. Everybody's got to be on a pill, and maybe just boys are boys sometimes, you know, and we ought to have to tolerate some of it, you know.
You used to coach sports with the kids?
Yeah, I tell people the one thing I will not reveal is my win-loss record.
Well, that's okay.
Somewhere that's public.
Yeah, it's everything's public anymore. You can't hide anything.
Having gone through that, which was the harder part, dealing with the kids or dealing with their parents?
Yeah, you know, I guess one of the reasons I did is I liked sports growing up. It was a chance for me to be around my kids. I was a physician, but most of my stuff was non-emergent, mostly eye surgery, cataract surgery during the day, occasional trauma to the eye at night, but most of the time I was able to make practice and go to games. And I liked being around my kids, I like sports, but I also I have a strong sense of people need to be treated fairly. And I can remember when a kid sometimes not being treated fairly, and the dad who's the coach plays his kid every inning of every game. His kid bats first. Everything is, and I think a lot of dads and probably moms too don't try to treat people fairly, and I think government ought to be the same way. I mean,
in his off time, Rand Paul likes to exercise, but his iPod probably isn't filled with the type of music that you'd assume.
You come from Texas, you live in Kentucky, It amazes me. I heard that you don't like country music. What kind of music? What kind of music do you like?
My staff has told me that's ruined the whole election for me. I've got no chance now. Now, we were down in Haiti, and I go with a group from University of Utah to do some surgery, and so we were down there, and in the operating room, a lot of times there's music playing, and so I just made some wisecrack. I said, anything but that country music, you know. I grew up more in sort of the classic rock and roll kind of, Beatles and Led Zeppelin were a little before my time, but sort of that kind of stuff. And then, still listen to more of that kind of music, classic rock and roll probably. So, but a lot of it's crossover now. The country and rock is sort of blended together,
As for a bucket list, Paul isn't the type to have grand visions of skydiving or mountain climbing, and says what he's doing now is its own kind of adventure.
I look forward to a time when the pace of my life is a little bit slower, and we'll see how that goes. That kind of depends on what I convince you of. I don't want to convince you too much, but I want a slower pace of life.
What you wish for.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.